Hello, how are you? How are you all? Today we're going to talk about Gorila tubular slings, specifically about the European standard and also their raw material, polyester. So stay tuned to see all the material. I am Sergio Jelensic and welcome to this community called Gorila, which aims, as mentioned above, to provide value to this content in such a technical field and make it more user-friendly so that many can also understand. And today I have to talk about one of my favorite products. And you will understand at the end of the video why it is one of my favorite products. But now, what is a sling? What is this product? What are its advantages compared to other products? What makes it different? What makes it unique? Any recommendations for use? Some inspection recommendations as well. And obviously the most important thing, what makes Gorila unique and different in the environment. So stay tuned to see all that material. But first, don't waste any time and subscribe to this channel. Tubular sling. And you will see that this pattern will be repeated in the next videos. It is an Amaroma 1. Amaroma is, after all, a tool for lifting loads. In this case, what is a polyester tubular sling? Everything you see here on this table is made of polyester. And this means it's class 7 polyester, which has already been treated to resist chemicals like ether and alkalis. What is this tubular sling? Because everything, as you can see, is completely different from a flat synthetic sling. And why is that? Its shape is completely different, which we will talk about later. Obviously, the qualities of what a Gorila is and why it makes it different. But some competitive advantages that this element has compared to other types of slings are the following. For example, with a flat sling, you can't twist it because it loses its load capacity. But the beauty of a tubular sling is that you can twist it and its load capacity will not be diminished. 1 ton, 2 meter sling. Looping shortens it to 1 meter, enabling 2 ton lifts. Imagine if I had to lift 2 tons. It's as simple as making a loop. And this way, even though I end up with a length of 1 meter, I have the ability to lift 2 tons. What are some of its other advantages? And also, what makes it different from other types of slings is that it's very versatile. And what does this mean? First, it doesn't damage the load because it's soft, flexible, and lightweight. In this sense, just like with other types of slings, I can work axially, in a loop, in a U-shape, or I can also add some other accessories to make it easier when I need to perform a lift. Regarding its usage recommendations, the most important thing for this type of product to have a long lifespan is to keep it away from ultraviolet rays, as well as to store it in a dry place. What makes this product, the tubular sling, different from a cable sling or a chain sling is that here you have a greater load capacity. And what does this mean? With a cable sling, you can usually work up to a maximum of 60 tons, and with a chain sling, probably 80 tons. With this, there are practically no limits. And why are there no limits? Because simply, as you can see, you can work with tubular slings in a continuous manner like what you find here, which is a continuous ring type II that is found here. What is V and what is V? V, ultimately, a type B tubular sling, is a braided sling which consists of 3 braided tubular slings. V means that there are 4 tubular slings braided together. And what does that generate? Unlike a braided sling, a continuous or II sling offers greater protection and safety. If one sling fails, the load can still be lowered safely with the other sling. This equipment is used in various industries such as towing large mining trucks during rescue operations. It's also widely used for heavy, complex and high-value loads, especially in risky operations. Tubular slings are common in these scenarios. In the wind industry, this type of sling is frequently used. This type of element has also been widely used for large loads. When we are working with very complex loads of high economic value or also risky operations, it is very common to see a tubular sling in use. In the wind industry, it's also very common to see this type of slings being used. What is it that you won't do with this type of product? Since it's a textile material, as I mentioned in the video about flat synthetic lines, have to be extremely careful when working with nearby welding. This product is not friendly with welding, it's not friendly with high temperatures, and this means that polyester, as such, is super important in terms of polyester, because there are other raw materials that I will talk about in the future. Do not expose to temperatures above 90 degrees Celsius, do not step on them, do not tie them. Therefore, it's a product that can have a long lifespan based on the care you can provide, almost a different gorilla in front of its environment. In this product, there are actually many differences and many qualities that it has, and I will tell you about them next. First of all, and you probably didn't know this and you weren't supposed to, all our tubular slings are manufactured in a fully automated machine custom made by us. And what does this mean? Like many manufacturers in general, when working with this type of product, The fiber is released onto the floor and then tied up so it can be put inside the cover. We do not, as we have a fully automated machine that is perfectly helical, which works perfectly and provides the necessary tension in the fiber. Number 2, as you can see, our tubular slings do not have seams in the body. The seam is only at one end and it's at the joint. This is very important because it prevents premature deterioration. If there were seams all around, it could suffer some early wear, and this means that Gorila will give you a longer lifespan in terms of the protection it offers. Number 3, our Gorila polyester covers are double layered. Textile materials wear out quickly, especially with high loads. Thus, Gorila's double cover stands out. You can understand that using a textile material can lead to premature wear. And since this is a common product, especially when we work with higher load capacities, these are high-value products. Therefore, it's extremely relevant that they come with a double cover like the Gorila ones because it makes them stand out more against the competition. Our labels are only sewn at one end, ensuring the traceability component in the stitching. This way, if the information is lost, we can trace back to know which production batch it came from. Each label has a unique serial code, comes with a PVC projection to extend its useful life, and it has unique traceability. Each is unique. So if you buy 100 units, 50 units will have the same number of certificates, and this helps us in the future. Now, recommendations for inspecting a tubular sling are similar for any product. Number 1, the label contains information from the manufacturer, its load capacities for different types of use, whether vertical, loop, or basket, the traceability of the item, its load capacities, and its associated standards. How do you inspect a tubular sling? Now, recommendations for inspecting a tubular sling are quite similar for any product, especially for slings. Number 1, the label contains information from the manufacturer, its load capacities for different types of use, whether vertical, loop, or basket, the traceability of the item, its load capacities, and its associated standards. How to inspect a tubular sling? The pattern is repeated in all types of slings. The first thing you have to prevail is to look at the label. If the sling's label is missing, damaged, or illegible, remove it from service immediately. Without traceability, we can't assess damage or manufacturing issues. You can visually inspect for deterioration. With textiles, look for sparks, welding, or exposed fibers. If there are knots, tears, crush marks, cuts, or damaged stitching, take it out of service. On the other hand, like any product, visually one can see if there is any deterioration, and the simple thing in a textile product, especially in a tubular product, is that if I have a spark, a weld, or I see that the internal fiber is exposed, element number 3 must immediately be decommissioned. If it is found with knots, if it is found with tears, if it is found with crushing, if it is found with cuts, or simply the seam is damaged, it must be decommissioned immediately. These are the most important recommendations that you should keep in mind when inspecting these types of elements. But it is a versatile, very useful element with great features, with great load capacities and many advantages. The importance of this is to ensure safety during use. Don't place loads on top of it. Don't step on it. Avoid continuous exposure to ultraviolet rays. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, being a polyester material, don't expose it to temperatures exceeding 90 degrees Celsius. I hope many of your questions have been answered in this video. I just want to thank you for staying with us until now, and I hope you continue to watch the content that comes out every day, where we will be creating capsules about all kinds of products with simple goals for you to learn.